What's up guys, this is Steve from Random Night, and I realise I haven't done a icon pack video for I think over a year almost, so I thought I would run down my favourite icon packs of 2015. So the first one we have here is called Retro Rika, and this is a really nice sort of matte effect. This is a really nice sort of matte effect. The colour scheme is kind of dark, it's got a slight sort of retro steampunky kind of feel to it. I think it calls itself the future of retro, or the retro of the future, or something along those lines, but it's definitely one of my favourite icon packs of the year, and it's called Retro Rika. Next up we have one of my real favourites, which is Sunshine icon pack, and I love this just because of the colour and the fact that it takes, for example, the Google Keep logo. It's something pretty normal, the Evernote one, and just makes it look very, very slick and kind of original, even though it's a very sort of, they're both sort of like very ubiquitous images, but it does really nice things with colour, and across the board it looks pretty decent. Again, it doesn't throw a background on it or anything, but if you use something like Nova Launcher, it will make sure all the sizes match up, and it should make it look really good. Next up we have Materialists. I think there's a definite vogue for naming icon packs in ways that are virtually impossible to pronounce, but this is a nice sort of dark, almost cartoonish kind of icon pack. So you can see they all have a nice square background, so everything looks unified, and then you've got a dark sort of pastel-y primary colour kind of vibe going on with the little designs on the actual icons, and as you can see, looks pretty unified across the board because it's got that border design which sort of makes everything fit together. Next up we've got Umbra, which is probably my favourite circular icon pack. It's got a nice dark shadow around each of the icons, which really makes the icons pop regardless of what sort of wallpaper you're using. But there's a little bit of a dependence on blue sometimes, but actually across the board it's not too bad. So Umbra is definitely one of my favourites, and I've been using it for a couple of years. Next up we have a completely new find, which is called Muffin, and I really like this one. Looks kind of stocky, but it's got much more interesting colours, and there's little bits of detail on some of the apps as well. It's not the most unified icon pack in the world, but it does do a pretty good job. Next up we have Click UI, and this is just a real nice, simple, circular icon pack. If you like circular icons, this is definitely one of the cleanest packs I think that you can use, and as you can see it does theme all of your apps into circles as well, so it makes everything sort of fit together and look nice and unified. Wake Up and Smell the Coffee icon pack. I'm not quite sure why this one's called coffee. It doesn't seem to have any direct inspiration from the drink, but never mind. This is a very clean, almost stock kind of feeling icon pack. There are some real nice details like the contacts icon, but all the colours are a little bit more heavily saturated and they tend to pop more than stock, so you can't really complain. Next up we have Crichton, and this is another circular icon pack, but it has a kind of matte effect, which means all the icons look a little bit softer. It's kind of an overarching pastel vibe. Next up we have Blim Light, which is kind of moonshiny. Again, it looks fairly similar to stock, except a lot of the colours are that little bit more saturated, so they pop just a little bit more. And for example with the calendar, there's a couple of nice little details and the contacts as well on some of the icons. And as a set, it looks pretty unified, but kind of in a stock way. I mean, it doesn't look particularly like you've got a very sort of strict icon pack, but if you like something that looks a little bit like stock but you want slightly more colour, this is pretty decent. Next up we have Lumos, which is actually an old favourite. This is one of my favourites from I think it was last year it came out, or maybe even the year before, but it's been frequently updated and it's sort of ever growing. This has that kind of slightly matte effect, which I really like as far as the colours go. There's also drop shadows on them, which you can kind of see on camera. They're pretty subtle, but they look really nice. Makes it look sort of ever so slightly three-dimensional. And as you can see across the board, it does pretty well as well. Again, it resizes everything if you use Nova Launcher. So this is definitely one of my old favourites and well worth a try. Next up we have Stark Icon Pack, which again is one of my old favourites. I think as far as all square icon packs go, this is probably my favourite. Overall, it's very sharp, there's no shadows on them, so everything looks very, very clean, and all of the icons look pretty simple. And finally we have Valor, which is kind of the light version of Umbra. It's very, very similar in the fact that they're all circular icons, except this time they tend to have a white background or they have a light colour. So for example, like the Google Drive one, obviously it wouldn't make sense to have a white background, a white boundary, so it's got a green one, but it looks very, very nice across the board. The colours are really, really cool. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite icon packs are. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. You can follow me on all my social media things, the links in the description. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.